Calling all fasters, calling all fasters. It's time to get hungry again. But you already knew that because you've been feeling it for weeks. How do I know? It sort of comes in waves and it hits all of us. It's amazing how it happens. You know, you can't fast all the time or eventually you die. And so it seems like God will, he just kind of puts it on people and all of a sudden everybody's fasting. And then it sort of lifts, so we can eat a little bit. And then it kind of comes again. Right now all over the States there's some big fasts going on. And this morning I just woke up with a sense of it is time. And so I'm calling out to those of you who've been kicking the tire on this one. This is not news to you. It resonates. It's more of a confirmation. You knew it was time. Today's the day. Let's pour yourself a big glass of water and just settle into this. Begin to make more time for prayer. Begin to lean into those deep places because we are going after the presence in a big way. And that's really what it comes down to. It comes down to the presence of the Lord. Why fast? It's about pursuing His presence. I want to share a scripture with you today from Matthew chapter 9, verse 14, 15. It's where Jesus is approached by John's disciples. Okay, John the Baptist, he was a faster. Okay, he was a Nazarite. He lived on grasshoppers and a little bit of wild honey if he wanted to get stung. He could get dessert if he was willing to fight the bees. But I mean, the guy lives off grasshoppers. And his disciples lived very fasted lives. Well, these disciples saw Jesus and his disciples eating. And so John's disciples come to Jesus and they say, how come we have to fast and the Pharisees fast, but your disciples don't fast? And Jesus's answer is extremely telling. It tells us really the main purpose and reason for fasting altogether. This is what Jesus says to those who ask, how come your disciples don't fast? His answer is Matthew 9:15. The attendants of the bridegroom cannot mourn while the bridegroom is with them. Can they? Now stop and think about that for a second. What would you say if you were one of John's disciples? I would say, Jesus, I didn't ask you about mourning. I asked you about fasting. I said, how come your disciples don't fast? Jesus' answer is, they can't mourn yet, not while I'm with them. You see, you need to understand that is what fasting is. Fasting is mourning. Mourning is when you lose someone you love, when someone you love is out of your reach and you're longing to be with them again, you experience mourning. And what Jesus is saying is that is what fasting is. Fasting is mourning, longing for someone's presence. And Jesus is saying there's no reason for them to fast right now because I'm with them. There's no purpose for mourning. I'm with them. But then in the next verse he says, but the time will come when the bridegroom will be taken away and then they will fast. You see, he uses the word fasting and mourning interchangeably. And I want to tell you, friend, if something inside of you, and I know some of you in the last few days and some of you the last few weeks and even months, there's been some mourning, sighing, groaning inside of you. I talked about last week, I talked about those who sigh and groan. Some of it is this pain that you're feeling over the abominations that you see in the world, over the lack of common sense, of just the disaster that is hitting the world at this time. So there's a part of you that's sighing and moaning, and I'm telling you, and I prophesy, God is marking those who sigh and those who groan, and He's going to protect them in these months ahead where things are going to get very real. But I want you to know part of that sighing, part of that groan, part of that is mourning. There's a mourning in you. And at one hand, yeah, you're in pain over what you see in the world, but then there's this other part of you that is just longing for the presence of the Lord. You're just saying, Lord, if we've ever needed you, we need you now. There's a mourning in you. And what happened, Jesus' disciples, they never fasted a single day while he was with them on earth. Jesus fasted. He was a big faster, fasted 40 days and many other times his disciples would come to him, eat. And he's like, no, I can't eat today. I got food you don't know anything about. Jesus was a faster. But his disciples never fasted until he was taken away. When he was taken away, instantly the church began fasting. Why? Because they were mourning, longing for his presence. And what happens when you fast is fasting leads to a greater manifestation of the presence of the Lord. And so those of you who right now, something in you is resonating with this message. This isn't a new word. This is a confirmation. I'm telling you, it's time to pour yourself a tall glass of water, and it is time to lean into fasting, because what is coming down the pipe, even in the weeks and especially the next 3 months, is very big. And yes, darkness may feel in moments like darkness has covered the earth and deep darkness the people, but the glory of the Lord is going to rise on you. God is about to reveal himself, manifest himself, glorify himself in greater ways. But when God starts pouring out his glory, you need to know it always goes to the lowest places. Get down, get low. There's no way to get lower than through fasting. Fasting humbles us. That's what David said. I humbled my soul with fasting. Let me tell you, get low, get low. And fasting is a key to get low. And if you will experience his glory in wonderful ways. And you'll be used by God to release his glory into the lives of those around you. So I am calling the fasters, especially the fasters of Canada. I'm saying it is time to fast for our nation, fast for our leaders, fast and pray for our family, for our friends, for those who we know who are living in deep dungeons of darkness. Let's fast and pray, and let's turn our moan and our sigh into intercession before the Lord, and watch him begin to rescue people from dungeons of darkness. Watch him begin to pour out his glory, his revival of fire on the earth. And I pray on you in particular. God bless you. I hope this has encouraged you. Like it, share if you dare. We'll see you soon.